In this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 secrets to getting signed by the record label of your dreams. So if you're an electronic music producer and you want to release on, let's say, something like Afterlife, one of the big labels that's out there, and you're interested in getting signed, then stick around, because especially the 3rd secret that I'm sharing with you is something that will make a huge difference in how you handle this. And by the way, if you're new to this channel, my name is Philip from Pick Yourself, and I have built this entirely to help you build a meaningful life based on your passion for electronic music. So if that's your thing, make sure to subscribe, because I'm sharing a lot of the mistakes that I've made in the past, a lot of the things that I'm learning right now. And I've built this type of lifestyle for myself, and yeah, follow me along for the journey. Make sure to subscribe. So today we're talking about record labels and how to get signed. Now this is one of the most common questions that I get. How do I get my EP signed? How do I get my single signed? And so on and so forth. And there are actually 3 secrets that I think make a huge difference in how you handle this whole thing. The first one is what I call the label ladder. Yeah? It's called the label ladder because you are probably right now somewhere down on this ladder. And the labels that you try to shoot for are somewhere up high at the very top end of that ladder. So let's say a label like Afterlife, which I've mentioned in the intro. This is one of the most prestigious labels in the electronic music scene, and your chances of just getting signed by them out of the blue are next to nothing. And so how do you get there strategically? Well, in my opinion, you have to start at a point where you self-release. So the first couple of releases, in my opinion, you should not even try to get on a label. Now, why is that? Why can't you just take the shortcut and try to get signed at least by a small label? Well, the thing is that most small labels suck, first of all. They don't make any promotion, and they give you, a lot of them just give you shady deals. And it's really hard to find out the ones that actually give you, first of all, a great deal and a nice promo package also with it. But to be worthy by these better small labels, it's actually good to have some kind of a reputation, some kind of a portfolio. And if you're the kind of artist who can self-release, that speaks in favor of you. That is such a good indicator that you are going to help the label be successful, because you're the kind of person that can make stuff happen. Yeah? This is the type of person that is really attractive for music industry professionals. By the way, I have a whole podcast episode on how to become more attractive for other music industry professionals, so make sure to check out that podcast episode. But apart from that, I think this value ladder is a super important concept. You start with self-releasing, and then you look for a label that's slightly higher on the ladder, slightly above the standard digital label that doesn't do anything for the artists, something that has a little bit of an underground reputation but isn't too big. This is the kind of label that you then try to shoot for with your next release. And so you gradually move up that ladder until at some point you're hopefully far enough into your journey, and this can be some years from now, you're far enough into your journey that you have the reputation that makes you qualify for some of the bigger labels like Afterlife or many other labels that come to mind to you. The second secret is to put yourself into the shoes of the person on the other end. This is the biggest problem here with label submissions, is that a lot of artists think only from their own perspective. So what can I get out of this? How can I get this label to sign me? Instead, you should reverse that whole idea, that whole concept, and look at it from, okay, how can I become the type of artist that this type of label wants to sign? It's a very different question. And this lets you put yourself into the shoes of the label A&R, the person that is signing new artists to that label. Ask yourself, okay, if I was the A&R of that label, what type of artist would I sign? Probably you would sign a type of artist that exactly fits the style of the label, first of all. Then you would sign an artist that already has some audience. It doesn't have to be a huge audience, but an audience that adds new people into the bigger audience of that label. And then also you have to have certain character traits, like be a responsible, reliable person, be a good communicator, all these things. You don't have to check all the boxes, but at least try to check as many as possible. Ask yourself, how can I become the kind of artist that this kind of label is most likely to sign? And then the third thing that I want to share with you here is be super strict about what labels actually get submitted. Get your demo submissions. only the labels that are a perfect match for you, even if they're smaller ones. The labels should be a perfect match because everything else is a waste of time for you and for them. That means you don't send your label submission email out to 100, 200, 300 labels that you randomly collected by a list on the internet. You don't send out this unpersonalized BCC email to everyone. You actually do the exact opposite. You have to be hyper focused and hyper exclusive with who gets your demo submissions. So only a couple of labels. I'd say the absolute maximum would be 20, but actually I would shoot for less than 10. And every single message has to be super personalized. You can also follow up with them, no problem at all. If they didn't open your email for the first time, make sure to follow up 1 time at least, not 7 times. But be super personalized with your whole approach. So really take your time to dig into these labels, find out what are they currently releasing. Let these things influence the way that you write your email to them. It's really important to give them the impression that you actually care. You have to give a damn about that label. You have to prove to them that you are more than just someone who randomly submits demos to anyone. Yeah, the final thing that I want to get across here is that you have to play the long-term game also with the label submissions. So just because a label says no thank you to your first demo submission doesn't mean that the relationship is over. No, that's actually the starting point of the relationship. This is when you can start regularly submitting demos to them. And if you can put out music consistently, that's even better, because that means the label can follow your growth. And if this is like the secret behind all these secrets, if you can showcase to the label that you can transform yourself into the kind of person that is most likely to be signed by that label, they will be really impressed. They see that you are a hardworking individual, you are not just talented, but you are also someone who actually tries to grow all the time. And so if you keep submitting your music to them regularly, keep that feedback loop with them going, then they feel like, okay, this is the kind of person that we might want to work together. So overall, bottom line is, don't overthink it. Put out the first couple releases yourself and then slowly climb up your way on the value ladder, on this like label value ladder. And then I think you're good to go. There's also an in-depth podcast episode by me about demo submissions and whether you should start a own label or not, and so on and so forth. So make sure to subscribe to the Pick Yourself podcast as well. And yeah, I hope you liked this episode here. Leave a comment below what you think about this strategy and what has worked for you with demo submissions. And if you have any open questions, just let me know in the comments and I will most likely do a video about them as well. That's it for today. See you soon.